Hello everyone, and welcome to the last Great Lakes Draft League set for the regular season, well, for not the regular season, just using the team that we had drafted up against El Flamingo, our week 4 opponent in UGA, aka the person who has helped me team build my teams throughout the season. And we felt that it would be good to put our two teams to the test in a exhibition set. Flamingo is such a good player. He made playoffs in Superior Division, aka the top division, and I made playoffs in my division. So anyway, we're going to bring the Dragapult, Fletchinder, Gardevoir, Sizzle, Terrakion, and the Gastrodon. A lot of berries this week with Roselli on the Dragapult, Papaya on the Terrak, and Rindo on the Gastro. And they match us with the Togi, Walrein, Durantis, Marowak, Indeedee Male, and the Stack Attacker. So, the reason why we've got Roselli on Dragapult is it can comfortably take attacks from a offensive Togekiss, and be able to hit KO with a Steel Spike in return. Terrakion has the Papaya because we're very concerned about that Indeedee being scuffed and going straight for a big expanding force. And Gastrodon is Rindo just because of Lurantis. Anyway, we're going to bleed Terrapult with Gastrodon and Scizor in the back. Then we lock in game 1. Just let me know who has the better trainer card. So, Flamingo leads Togekiss Indeedee, and I lead my Terrapult. So pretty much this is not a bad lead for me, but it's not the best lead I could have faced. So I look about what I want to do. I go decide I want to max the Dragapult, go for a Steel Spike into the Togi, and go for a Helping Hand. Because I know a Helping Hand boosted Steel Spike can 2-hit KO Togi, I'm thinking maybe I could pick up the Oko here. And besides, it's a very good neutral attack into potentially what could be a max Togekiss from Flamingo's side. So we go big Dragapult, click Helping Hand. Togi Reels following me, it does a Dynamax, so I'm feeling like I'm in a good position here. But then Dragapult falls just short of getting the KO on the Togekiss. Just didn't have much oomph. If I had Life Orb, I would have got it, but the risk was a tiny bit too high to not run Roselli. Indeed, he goes to Trick Room, and now everything on Flamingo's side will be moving before us. So we click Flutterby and Rock Slide here to find that we could pick up a double KO here. He goes for a Helping Hand on his Didi. Didi goes for Expanding Force, the Papaya Berry activates. And Terrakion, even with the Papaya, lives on 4 HP. If you ever want to know how powerful Expanding Force is, that's it right there. Terrak goes for a Rock Slide, does about half to Didi and picks up the KO on Togi. And the Max Lullaby comes out on Indeedee and finishes the job, and we pick up a double KO on turn 2. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm not in that bad of a position. I think I can really do quite a fair bit. I did know Stack would be in the back. That wasn't surprised to see that, but I was surprised to see Lorantis. Not gonna lie. So, we clicked Max Lullaby into Lorantis, which is a bit weird considering it gets Contrary and it would get a +1 in its special attack stat. And we go for close combat to Stack, because if he mistargets anything or tries for a double up into the Dragapult, I could end up just taking his stack, which could be very nice. So he Dynamaxes the stack attacker. Big pile of bricks. And a big Max Steel Spike comes out. Doesn't do a lot to Dragapult, considering that Dragapult is at +1 defense itself. Lorantis goes for superpower. That's normally always his strat. He normally really goes for the one superpower, getting Lorantis really set up. So we go for Max Flutterby, and this does just a bit under half damage, and Contrary activates. So we decide to bring in our Sizzle. Knowing that Gastrodon is in a bit of a tough position in that situation, and he does like to run Iron Ball Lorantis, so he could always just underspeed us. And besides, having Gastrodon as a in the back option to deal with Lorantis if it potentially is Iron Ball is pretty solid. So we protect the Dragapult and we go on the offense with our Sizzle. So we kick Sizzle. I didn't realise after we clicked that Stack does get Heat Crash. I'm like, he probably doesn't have Heat Crash, right? And he reveals the Max Flare and I'm like, he does. That's some good tech right there. Just Heat Crash for purely the Sizzle. And Sizzle goes straight down, and as such, the Lorantis is in a really good position to clean this game up. So in comes Gastro, not exactly in the best position. So Dragapult, we just literally go, if Dragapult could just literally do anything, it would be amazing, but I highly doubt it. And I toyed the idea of ice beaming the Lorantis. But what's going through my head is I'm thinking he's hard Trick Room, he's probably got the Iron Ball Lorantis. So I decided to go for a U-turn and protect from my Gastrodon, thinking that the play next turn would then be just to get a big damage on the stack and then or KO the Lorantis. And stack goes for a Max Rockfall into the Dragapult slot, which picks up the Dragapult and sets up the Sand. Beast Boost activates, and Lorantis reveals it does in fact have a grass move, which again is not that big of a surprise. So the Trick Room returns to normal, and I still think I am in a pretty solid position, because I still think he's Lorantis with a Iron Ball, because he loves to run his Iron Ball Lorantis. He's run it a lot during the season, so I'm thinking, yeah, he probably runs it one more time. So I click Earth Power into the stack, thinking that if I can OHKO the stack here, I can then KO the Lorantis next turn, and the Lorantis outspeeds me. And I'm like, this is GG's at this point. Earth Power goes into Stack, and Stack leaves due to the special defense boost thanks to the Sandstorm, and as such sets up the Trick Room, which at this point all but secures the game in his favour. All he needs to do is either attack with Stack or attack with Lorantis. So he goes for Rock Slide, connects the Rock Slide, and picks up the KO, and as such, game 1 goes to Mr. Flamingo. So, going to game 2, I identified that his team really wants the Trick Room to go up. And this is something I identified in prep, that his Trick Room is very solid, and our team doesn't have a lot for a hard Trick Room mode. So what I do is, I decide Gardevoir is my best bet, considering it has Trick Room, Imprison. It could also shut down Expanding Force from Nadini and Helping Hand from the Togekiss, which is really nice. So then I'm umming and ahhing about what I want to be as the partner for Gardevoir. Do I want Dragapult? Do I want Terrakion? Do I want Scizor? It ultimately depends. So no, Gardevoir is completely the Pokemon I want to bring. So the Pokemon identified being really good to just match up is definitely Gastrodon. Gastrodon can handle both the Marowak and the Stack, and it could do really well at walling out the Walrein. Scizor also does pretty well in handling Lorantis, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to have those in the back. It's just who I want to lead next to Gardevoir on lead, and Terrakion and Dragapult both have good claims to it. So this is what's just plagued my thoughts this entire time, is what do I lead next to Gardevoir, and I ultimately send on Dragapult, and then I bring the Scizor and Gastrodon in the back, since I know that is a very reliable endgame that can handle a lot of what his team wants to do. So game 2 comes out. So in game 2, he leads the same Togekiss and Didi, and I adapt by dropping Terrakion and bringing in my Gardevoir. He's experienced enough to know that this is obviously gonna be a Trick Room Imprison Gardevoir. Like, why would I get destroyed by Trick Room game 1 and not bring my Imprisoner game 2? So we still click Imprison anyway, because it's still useful to neuter that Togekiss, considering it has Helping Hand, and if for some reason he keeps Indeedee in, he only gets one Expanding Force, and even then he doesn't get that Trick Room. It also covers for him reading me. So we go for Imprison, and I think we click Max to Sparkle Draga. He switches the Indeedee out into Stack, and I'm still fine with that, because Imprison will still ensure that Stack doesn't get its Trick Room up. So we Dynamax Dragapult again. So Dragapult kinda is actually doing quite well against into this team, especially has like Togekiss and Marrow. Follow Me comes out. We click Steel Spike, because we're not really going to click Max Flutterby into an Indeedee, and we use Imprison, which stops the Stack from Trick Rooming, but it also stops the Togekiss from Helping Handing, which is very nice. So I decided what I want to do here. I consider going for expanding force, but then I'm like, no, I'll just go for a helping hand, um, and just go for a phantasm, because if he doesn't redirect with Togi, I'll just put some big damage on the stack. If he does redirect, then I'll just put the stack to -1 defense, which is pretty solid for a not stack doesn't like to lose its defense pretty much. So pretty much, I am very confused of why he hasn't really maxed his stack attacker at this point. Because stack's pretty solid. It's a max option. Like, I get Gyrobal's pretty good, but you could still get Steel Spike or Rockfall and knock out the Gardevoir. Then you just bring in your Indeedee and you set up a Trick Room that way. But we click Helping Hand again and we click Max Flutterby, because we just think this Indeedee is just very, very bulky. So we just go, yeah, we'll just click Helping Hand just to ensure I'm more than happy to take the Gardevoir for Indeedee trade. So he clicks the Dynamax button on his stack attacker. So the stack attacker comes out and maxes again. One thing Flamingo is really good at, he's really good at conserving his Dynamax. He won't rush into his Dynamax. And this speaks volumes to the way that our two teams were built during the draft. So we come out with Flutterby, and reveals that it is Focus Sash Indeedee, which is actually a really cool tech, knowing that he knows that I love to run moves like Beat Up and U-Turn on my drag to deal with things like Indeedee. And Indeedee reveals Energy Ball. And I'm like, okay then, we're not bringing in Gastrodon just yet. And Stack goes for a Rockfall. So, yeah, about Flamingo conserving his Dynamax really well, it's more that his team's built really bulky, or as he likes to call it, fat, and as such, it's designed to stall out an opponent's Dynamax. Indeed, he goes down to Sandship there, which is actually a massive help. I bring in Sizzle because Sizzle, I know Lorantis probably can't, Lorantis is in the back, but my team was built really, really hyper aggressively and really, really offensive, wants to take KOs quick and fast. Flamingo's team is a team that's built really bulky and wants to sit in the field for as long as it possibly can and still at the max, while you have a late game max and a late game sweep. But anyway, back to the battle. Scizor, we actually make the read, click Max Flare again, and we U-turn with Dragapult. So the reason why I did this is just because I don't want to lose my Scizor turn 1 again. Because if it's gone, then there's a high chance that Lorantis could just win this for him. So we go for a U-turn, and we're going to Scizor on that slot, or on the Dragapult slot. So we see our Scizor out, but we also get our Gastrodon in, and we have our Dragapult in the back. Goes out for a superpower into the Gastrodon. And goes for a big Max Flare into the Scizor slot. But because it's not a Scizor, Gastrodon eats it like a champ. So here, I have to just protect the Gastrodon because I know what's coming, and it's a Leaf Blade. And I decided to go for an X Scizor with my Scizor into Lorantis. Because I know Gastrodon can just win this game quite easily, and I'm more than happy to take a Lorantis for Scizor trade at this point in the game. So we go for X Scizor. Lorantis lives, which is less than ideal. And he goes with a max flare into Sizzle. So he levels it out at 2 all. But we have a Dragapult in the back and a Gastrodon, which outside of Sand can Oko stack with a Earth Power. So we go for Earth Power into stack. And I've also just realised that there may actually not be any sound in the video, so I will take this opportunity to actually just apologise for that. I would fix it, but it's a bit late, and I kind of do want to get this video out. It's fine. Anyway, U-turn comes out, goes into Lurantis. Gastrodon comes out with Earth Power, and secures game 2 for us. So, we pick up the second win of, well, our first win of the set, and we force a game 3. So, I am now thinking, how does he change it up? And I'm thinking he has Walrein. I have a complete feeling that he's going to bring a belly drum Walrein, which is going to absolutely cleave my team apart. So I'm like, how do I beat it? Does he bring it at all? I don't know how I can break a plus, get past a +6 Walrein. Do I switch it up? Do I bring Terrakion instead of Dragapult, just to be able to handle it a little bit better? So this is something that just plagues my thoughts for a fair while. Like, I know I'm wanting to probably lead Gardevoir just in case he brings the Trick Room mode again. So I started settling on Dragapult Gardevoir. So I'm thinking I could just somehow try and find a way to stack some Steel Spikes up against the Walrein. I could potentially maybe live something, highly doubt I would. But we go for Sizzle and we go for Gastrodon. We bring the same for as game 2, which turns out to have worked pretty well. And as such, we go into a game 3. Winner takes all, ultimate bragging rights for the Great Lakes season. And a bit of revenge from UGA. So he leads the Togi stack, and I'm like, thank God it's not the Walrus. So I'm like, and then I realise he could make a play here, which he could Dazzling Gleam with, little note there. Yes, Hustle Togekiss. He said that's a mistake, it's not meant to be Hustle, he just didn't change it. But anyway, a play he could make here to make sure that he can get his Trick Room up next turn is to Dazzling Gleam, which breaks my Gardevoir's Sash, and then click Gyro Ball, which AOs the Gardevoir. As such, I have a play to punish him for that type of play. I click Max Steel Spike with Dragapult into Togi, knowing that it will comfortably 2-hit KO. And I still click Imprison with Gardevoir, just in case he does click the Trick Room. Just as a precautionary measure, I could have just clicked Helping Hand and run the Gauntlet on Togi, but I didn't want to get Trick Roomed. So I still click Imprison. The Dragapult maxes for the third game straight in this set, which is actually a surprise, considering his team is so anti-Dragapult. And we fire off a big Max Steel Spike. which does approximately 60% to turkey. And I am more than happy to take that. We go for Imprison. He reveals a dazzling gleam, which breaks the GLDL Circus Dash, more importantly than hitting the drag. And he goes with a Gyro Ball, which KOs the Gardevoir. And I'm like, you beauty, I'm in such a fantastic position at the moment. Because I can completely deny you of your Trick Room this turn. Because I know Gastrodon should OHKO the Stack Attacker in this position. And the Dragapult will be able to finish the Togekiss off, so even if he goes for a Follow Me, he can't stop it. I'm actually really surprised he didn't run Shuka stack, and he did have it on stack, but he dropped it at the last second because he wanted it to go Boo on the Trick Room. So Steel Spike comes out from Dragapult. This is really good for me because of its Wall Rain in the back, Dragapult stacking up the defense boost, which is really, really nice. Toki goes down, and Gastrodon comes out with a big Earth Power, and just like in Game 2, Stack Attacker drops to it. And now I'm in such a commanding position, despite Flamingo having the 3 available Dynamax turns. I feel as though I'm in the better position. So he brings his Indeedee and he brings out the Walrus. And I'm like, here we go, the Walrus. But here's the thing, he didn't bring Lurantis. And I know that if this is not Belly Drum Walrein, Gastrodon will wall it out. So I try to play to the Gastrodon endgame here. And since I know Indeedee has Energy Ball, I focus it down. I don't care if the Walrein fires off a Yawn, but if it fires off a Belly Drum, then I'm in a little bit of trouble. So I go for a Max Flutterby into the Indeedee, and then I kick Earth Power into the Indeedee, just to ensure the Indeedee goes down. So Flutterby comes out and it doesn't max the Walrein. I'm like, oh god, he's gonna Belly Drum. I'm like, this is where he reverse sweeps me with a Walrein. Like, to be honest, I bet on the other side of a Walrein sweep. Want to find that out? Just go watch my playoff set against Hippo, where Walrein picked up 6 KOs. Anyway, Energy Ball comes out, doesn't really do a lot to Gastrodon, thanks to its Rinderberry, and it's cursed, and I'm like, hallelujah, it's cursed, not Belly Drum. And the good thing about curse is that it's only +1, not +6. Which means Gastrodon can go a long way to walling it out. Anyway, Gastrodon picks up the KO on the Indeedee, and all of a sudden it's a 3v1. So, this Walrein is not known for its physical offense, but it can absolutely still hit very, very hard. And we bring in the Took over your turn. The only one Pokemon in the back is Sizzle, so we know Sizzle's coming in. He Dynamaxes the Walrein. It's his last ditch effort, he needs to max it. Big Walrus. Interesting fact about our Walreins is our Walreins just absolutely popped off when we brought them. Mine picked up 9 KOs in 5 games, and I think he's picked up like, I don't know, 5 or 6 from 3 games. Like, he picks up a decent few. Well, it picks up cut 1, so 1 here, 2 here actually. So And the Max Quake into Gastrodon does absolutely nothing, and I know Gastrodon is going to wall this thing out. If he wants to play stall Walrein, I will outstall you with a Gastrodon. And I thought for a second there I activated something, a berry or something, but it's just lefties, so I'm extra happy. So we go for a superpower into the Walrein, and we click recover with the Gastrodon since we're going to want it to be very, very healthy. Superpower comes out, just a good decent amount of chunk to Walrein. He goes for a Max Quake into the Scizor, and Scizor doesn't take that very well, but it's fair enough considering it is at -1 defense. And Gastrodon gets its health back. And it gets a little bit of lefties. So I switch the Scizor out for Dragapult, knowing that I want to have Scizor in the back for a full power superpower once Walrein's Dynamax turns ends, and I just go for another Earth Power from Gastrodon. Or did I go for Protect? Went for Protect. So I pretty much just went, I don't care what you do with the Scizor slot, you're not going to touch my Dragapult, my Gastrodon, and he Hailstorms Scizor, calling the Dragapult, even though I don't think it was a read. It still caught my Dragapult off guard, but I didn't care about my Dragapult going down at this point, it doesn't do a lot. Scizor and Gastrodon are the endgame here. And Scizor was the reason, Gastrodon was the main reason why I actually decided to get Scizor, because they work so well together. Because Gastrodon handles all the fire types, and Scizor handles all the grass types. Anyway, Dynamax is over from Gastrodon, not Gastrodon, Walrein. I know here that, a superpower should do a fair chunk to Walrein. And I'll go for a Earth Power. And it has a crap ton of damage. And I don't care what Scizor does, what he does with Scizor now. He kills my Scizor, I don't care, Gastrodon wins. Because you have almost no health and I can just recover as much times as I like. Gastrodon doesn't get the KO here though. I'll be sure, but it gets a special defense drop. And I think that special defense drop did matter because I think Flamingo could have actually have held on for another turn. But then again, I think ultimately, at the end of the day, I think Gastrodon just proves to be a little bit too bulky and ends up winning the game overall anyway. So he goes for an Icicle Spear. There's not really much he can do. So I hope for some mega super duper ridiculously crit that damages Gastrodon super effectively. And Gastrodon seals the set. We get our revenge for UGA. We pick up a win against a trainer in Superior who made the playoffs. So I am very, very happy. So anyways, that will be nearly the end of our Great Lakes Draft League run. There will be one more video out for the season, and we will basically go over every team's season. So, well, for the Erie Division at least, and basically create a season, give them a few pointers, and identify if their season went wrong, where they could have actually improved, and especially if the teams have finished a bit lower down, where they could improve for their next draft. So that video will come out once we know who the champion of the Erie Division is. That will be played between Rollo's Mass Magikarps, which I ranked as being the number 1 team in the division, and Panda, who has been helping me with my UGA stuff alongside Flamingo during weeks we aren't playing. So stay tuned for that one. I'd also like to apologise for the lack of in-game audio. I completely forgot that I had it turned off. So hopefully you guys just like my voice, I guess, to guide you guys through the game. Also, UGA will be returning next week. We'll do a little bit at the beginning of next week's set, describing what we've done with the um, trade period. We have some really good picks, and I feel like there's some picks that we absolutely needed to make. So anyway, we got a fair few, fair bit of content coming out next week or so. So stay tuned for all that. Anyways, this is the end for GLDL until the next season. And until then, until my next video, I'll see you guys then.